One of the things that you never want to hear is that phone ring in the middle of the night and find out that a family member is ill. And I got that phone call and it was about my grandmother. I was very, very close to my grandmother, Charlotte. It's a very scary thing to see someone basically on their deathbed. My grandmother had the flu. It was just terrifying to see her struggling for her breath. She was dead by the next day. And then I got really sick. I remember somehow dragging myself to the doctor, and I was curled up in the waiting room, advising people not to get too close to me because I was coughing. They diagnosed that I had pneumonia. My cough sounded like a death rattle, and they sent me home with, 4 or 5 different medications. I had to have a friend pick up a home breathing unit. And so I'm at home and I'm just miserable in bed. And I get a call from my mom. She said I was just out with my helper. My mom's disabled. And when we came home, 911 was here. And they're taking Dad to the hospital. Can you go? I really didn't know at first how critical it was. I didn't know, was he dying that moment? And for him to have called 911, he must have thought he was dying. My dad had the flu also, and he ended up being in the hospital for about a week. And yet this time, I couldn't do anything because I was sick myself. I was sick for about 6 or 8 weeks. Sick as I've ever been. Friends were calling me, they would hear me cough, and they would just be terrified. It was a really scary time. To this day, can feel that my lungs were affected by having the pneumonia. I've become much more sensitive to getting respiratory infections, and that I have less lung capacity than I once did. I feared that as an amateur singer, I might never get my voice back. I had never held an inhaler before, and then suddenly I had one in my purse all the time. So when I talk to my friends, I tell them about what I went through, how horrible it was to get this complication of the flu, and how a flu shot could have prevented all this. My grandmother might have lived. I might have the full lung capacity that I once did. My dad had been spared a week in the hospital. My dad is like me. We are among the first people in line. Every year when the flu vaccine becomes available, I'm there with my sleeve rolled up saying, please give this to me. I think my grandmother Charlotte would be proud that I'm telling this story.